Hello and welcome to our podcast of the Mac and Mac College Football Program right here on the Grueling Truth Network. I'm Sean McCormick, along with my son Ryan, discussing NCAA football. Well, Ryan, we're nearing the end of the regular season, and I guess it's conference championship weekend for most of the conferences. We have the MAC, the Pac-12, the AAC, ACC, SEC, and Big Ten, all these games going on. So why don't we just dive right into it. Let's start off with the MAC championship. You got undefeated Western Michigan, ranked 21st, taking on Ohio University. That game at Ford Field in Detroit. Now, talk about a turnaround. P.J. Fleck takes a team that was just 1-11 3 seasons ago, turns them into this conference championship game participant now. And, you know, not many are giving the Bobcats a chance at all. They're 17-point underdogs, right?
Yeah, and I think with the success that Western Michigan's had this year, I think that's about right. I mean, I look for them to continue what they started and roll the Bobcats this week.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big reasons is their quarterback, Zach Terrell. He's completed over 71% of his passes. Then you have receiver Corey Davis. He's been on the completion end of those passes 83 times so far. On the other hand, you've got Ohio University 0-3 in MAC title games, the last one coming back in 2011. Coach Frank Solich always has a scrappy bunch of Bobcats, but I can't see that OU is going to be able to do anything any different than anybody else has to Western Michigan this year.
No, I think the high-powered offense of Western Michigan is going to take a toll on the Bobcats that does seem to struggle to put up some points.
Yeah, you're listening to the Mac and Mac College Football Program right here on the Grueling Truth Network. Out to the West Coast, we got the Pac-12 championship. Actually, this is probably one of the better matchups for the weekend. You got number 4 Washington against number 9 Colorado. Huskies 8.5-point favorites on this one. Now, Colorado, the Buffaloes, they're no slouches. They've had some good games. At the time they played Washington State and Utah, both were ranked in the top 20. Everyone knows how well the Huskies have played this season. The sad part is even a win against Colorado may not be enough to get them into the FBS playoffs. Lots of ifs are involved for those Final Four spots, as well as Washington just having some terrible non-conference games. I mean, Portland State, Rutgers, Idaho. If only they could get that USC game back, their lone loss. But I see the Huskies, matching that 8.5 and maybe even getting more.
Yeah, I look for the Huskies to take care of business as they're balanced on both sides of the ball. Pretty good defense, pretty good offense as they showed last week in the rout of Washington State. Now,
one of the teams that people are talking about is number 20 Navy. Saying if Navy can beat Temple in the American Athletic Conference Championship, they can actually throw a monkey wrench into things. I'm not quite sure how that's going to go other than who's going to go where bowl-wise. But, Temple, 9-3 on the year, taking on a 9-2 Navy team. Now, Navy obviously has that triple option offense, averages over 340 yards per game on the ground. Now, kind of matches up to Temple, though, because Temple actually ranks 3rd in defense yards given up, and the only 2 teams in front of them are Alabama and Michigan. So the Owls have a pretty good defense going.
Yeah, and I mean, this late in the year, especially coming to bowl season right around the corner, the defense is normally step up. The offense sells the tickets, and the defense what wins them games. I actually like Temple with the upset of Navy this week.
Really, I think they're only 2-point favorites, but I'm going to go with the midshipmen. Everyone thinks about the run, of course, with the option, but Navy quarterback Will Worth, he's actually thrown for over 1,300 yards this year as well. I'm going to say something like 34-21 Navy.
Yeah, I think you're going to be in for a low-scoring defensive battle. I'm going to say 21-17 Temple.
Okay, and this is the Mac and Mac College football program. Moving down to the ACC Championship, Clemson taking on Virginia Tech. Now, third-ranked Tigers, pretty much a Jekyll and Hyde team, to say the least. Clemson can come out and smoke your butt, or it can lay an egg like it did against Pitt. The 23rd-ranked Hokies, they've been known to do the same thing. Some days they're just fantastic, other days they aren't. But the one thing, a loss to Virginia Tech will likely mean no spot in the playoffs for Clemson.
Yeah, and I just don't see anybody slowing down that high-powered offense. Deshaun Watson had an incredible senior year, and look for him to have a big game.
I'm looking at somewhere around 42-21 favor of the Tigers. I think they're just going to light up the board. They know what's coming up. They want to get that chance to get in the top four.
Absolutely. Virginia Tech, always fundamentally sound on defense, struggles to put up points. I just don't see them matching the tempo that Clemson will bring. I'm going to say 52-24. Okay,
now, Big Ten title game. You have two teams both at 10-2. You've got 6th-ranked Wisconsin against 7th-ranked Penn State. Of course, Penn State's claim to fame this year, knocking off Ohio State, putting them in a little bit of a bind as far as getting into the playoffs possibly. Now, after that game, it seems the Nittany Lions, they really improved every week. I think you're going to look for a typical Big Ten game here, though, slugging it out, get a sprinkling of deep balls, and if that happens, Wisconsin's probably hoping for it, leading the nation with 21 picks. Wisconsin's defense is very opportunistic. Now the Badgers are 3-point favorites, but I've got to say 27-23 Penn State.
Yeah, I like Penn State in this one. Franklin's got them playing some great ball right now, and I think they're still on the emotional high off the win over Ohio State, which was big for them. And with a win and a couple other teams losing, you never know what it could do for playoff appearances.
And you're almost wondering whether you want to be that sacrificial lamb, because if you're the fourth team coming in, you're going to be facing number 1 Alabama, and that's not a pleasant task. And that's something Florida has in the SEC championship game on Saturday. 23rd-ranked Gators are 24-point underdogs. No one is giving the Gators any chance at all to win at the Georgia Dome. I guess kind of aptly, because when you consider Florida's offense is ranked 13th out of the 14-team SEC, it's awful hard to go against Nick Saban and his team, and I think they're smelling the national championship really, really quick.
Yeah, I've been rolling with the Tide all year, and I like the Tide this week as well. Florida, to be in the position they're at, to be able to play in the SEC championship game, says wonders for their defense, as their offense has only scored 25 offensive touchdowns during the season.
Yeah, Alabama's defense is just something, and it just seems like Nick Saban they're kind of coasting along almost. It seems like they just do enough to get the wins, and then they kind of they're not really laying it on teams like they could.
No, they're not. I thought last week that Lane Kiffin got kind of conservative on the offensive side of the ball. Having said that, that's probably Nick Saban saying, "Hey, let's run the ball. Let's get out of here. We've got to win in the Iron Bowl. We got to keep our guys healthy." And I look for Alabama to pretty much roll 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm talking 55. I'm talking 55-14 Tide.
Yeah, I'm going to say 31-10.
Okay, going conservative on that, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, just from watching the game last week, I mean, they had a chance to put the pedal to the metal against Auburn, and they did not.
Yeah. Well, that's going to wrap it up for the Mac and Mac College football program right here on the Grueling Truth Network.